Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to do day 2 of Unit 1, Week 4 of our Wonders. And we're going to be using the story we read yesterday, which was Mary Anderson's Great Invention. So let's take a look at the presentation first. Alrighty, can launch that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is look at a comprehension strategy. So a way that you can help yourself to understand what you're reading a little bit better. Okay, there you go. So we're going to look at the ask and answer question strategy. We've talked about this one before. So it's telling us that as you read Mary Anderson's Great Invention, you can ask and answer questions. How do you ask and answer questions? You ask yourself questions as you read Mary Anderson's Great Invention, then look for details to support your answers. Okay, so we could ask, if I am reading a section of Mary Anderson's Great Invention, maybe I might ask, let's look at the section called The Next Step. Mary thought about this problem. How could drivers clean their windshields without stopping? Could they do it without opening their windshield? I wonder if she's going to come up with a way to do that. That's a question I might ask myself. Then I would go on to read, back home in Alabama, Mary sketched her idea. Then she added notes. She wanted to examine her solution to make sure that it worked. Next, Mary did her own investigation. She looked for facts about what drivers needed. She invented a windshield wiper that a driver could use from inside their car. So yes, she did come up with a way to wipe the windshield without opening it. Okay, let's go on here. So let's look at this section. Look at the section. It started with snow. Think of a question, then read to answer it. Okay, it started with snow. Mary Anderson grew up in Alabama. In the winter of 1902, she went to New York City. It was a cold and windy day. The sky was a gray curtain. Snow was a white blanket on the ground. Mary was cold and wet. Because she wanted to warm up and get dry, she rode a streetcar. So let me think of a question. Streetcars are not common now, but maybe they were common then. So did this happen a long time ago? Let's go back. Yes, this was in 1902. Okay. Back then, some streetcar windshields had two parts. They opened with a push. From her seat, Mary watched the snow and ice build up on the windshield. The streetcar driver could not see, so he pushed open the windshield. This helped him to see better. As a result, snow and ice blew in his face. Soon his nose and ears were ice cubes. Other cars kept stopping too. Sometimes the drivers hopped out. They wiped off their windshields. Then they got back in and drove. As a result, traffic moved slowly. So one question you might have come up with is, why did drivers push open their windshields? So let's go back and see if we can find that answer. So back then, some streetcar windshields had two parts. They opened with a push. Okay, so they opened their windshields so that they could push off the snow. Okay, so he pushed open his windshield in order to help him see better. So we have highlighted our text evidence to answer our question of why did drivers push open their windshields. Okay, I read that windshields had two parts. The driver pushed it open. This helped him see where he was going. Now I can answer my question. Opening the windshield helped the driver to see better. So that is the answer to why they opened their windshields, because they couldn't see. Okay, think of one question about Mary Anderson's invention. You might ask, how did it work? Reread the passage to answer it. So let's read this one together. Mary had a model built. It was made of quality wood, rubber, and metal. Soon the model was ready to test. It was fitted on a windshield. The driver moved a handle inside the car. The handle caused a blade to move back and forth across the glass. It worked. Mary's idea was a gem. She felt encouraged and was sure it would sell. So did we answer how it could work? We did. Worked because the driver moved a handle inside that caused the blade to move back and forth across the glass. All right. So this was just an example of some of the questions you could ask and answer while reading Mary Anderson's great invention. Now we're going to look at cause and effect. So you had to do a little worksheet on cause and effect yesterday, and we're going to do some more about cause and effect today. So the cause is what makes something happen. The effect is the result of that, or what actually happens. So a cause is why something happens. An effect is what happens as a result of the cause. They happen in time order. Signal words such as because and as a result show cause and effect. So if you choose not to do your work and then you get a poor grade, the cause is you choosing not to do your work. The effect is getting a poor grade. Does that make sense? All right. So we're going to read the passage to find out what caused Mary to ride in a streetcar. Highlight a signal word to help you find the cause. Okay. So Mary Anderson grew up in Alabama. In the winter of 1902, she went to New York City. It was a cold and windy day. The sky was a gray curtain. Snow was a white blanket on the ground. Mary was cold and wet. Because she wanted to warm up and get dry, she rode a streetcar. Okay, so the first thing, the cause, what caused her to ride the streetcar? Okay, so Mary was cold and wet, and she wanted to get warm and dry. That is what caused her to ride the streetcar. Okay, so we have because. So that is a signal word that tells us we are looking at a cause and effect. Okay, so Mary was cold and wet and wanted to warm up, and so she rode the streetcar. That is our first cause and effect. Okay, next, back then, some streetcar windshields had two parts. They opened with a push. From her seat, Mary watched snow and ice build up on the windshield. The streetcar driver could not see, so he pushed open the windshield. This helped him to see better. As a result, snow and ice blew in his face. Soon his nose and ears were ice cubes. So, what could our next one be? Okay, so next we could say that she saw that the driver could not see and had to open the windshield. The effect might be that she started thinking about whether there would be a way that drivers could clean their windshields without opening the windshield. So you are going to go ahead and fill in the rest of this graphic organizer. It's one of your attachments to your assignment, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in a moment. Okay, so here's what yours looks like. All right, now we're going to look at metaphors. So what is a metaphor? The sun is a yellow ball, is a metaphor. What a metaphor does is compare two things that are very different. A metaphor helps make a picture in the reader's mind. Let's look for metaphors as we read. So remember, a metaphor compares two things that are very different. The sun is a yellow ball. Is the sun actually a yellow ball? No, this is a metaphor comparing the sun to a yellow ball. Because sometimes when you look at the sun, does it look like a yellow ball? Yes, it does. So this is a metaphor. Okay, read the sentence, highlight the two things that are compared in this metaphor. What picture does the metaphor make? So Mary Anderson's great invention, the sky was a gray curtain. So what are the two things that we're comparing? That's right, we're comparing the sky to a gray curtain. And does this give you a picture in your head of kind of a thick grayness in the air? It does for me. So this is an example of another metaphor. The sky was a gray curtain. So it means that the sky was dark and cloudy. Okay, another one, snow was a white blanket on the ground. What are we comparing? We're comparing snow with a white blanket. So snow can look like a white blanket over the ground, but is not in fact a white blanket. So these are two very different things that we are comparing to give you a picture of what the snow looked like. So do you think there was quite a bit of snow or just little patches of snow? Yeah, quite a bit of snow because it looked like a white blanket. All right. Skip that one. And we are going to stop sharing this tab. And we're going to come back to you for a moment. Hi. So I hope that that helped you to understand a little bit about asking and answering questions, about metaphors, and about cause and effect. So let's do a little more work on cause and effect. And I will present one of your worksheets to you. Okay, let's make this a bit larger so we can see it. Okay, and this is just a copy of the graphic organizer. And we said that our first, let's make it smaller. Okay, our first event that we talked about was that Mary was, let's move this down, cold and wet. Okay, she wanted to get dry and warm. So she decided to ride a streetcar. Okay, so which part of this is the cause? Okay, she wanted to get cold and dry. The effect is that she decided to ride a streetcar. Okay, and then we can go on and tell some other ideas. So things that happened next. So I will go ahead and give you some ideas of some of the causes, and then you can fill in the effects. All right, so let's go on to our spelling. So our spelling worksheet looks like this. And we are going to be working on the long A sounds, which we're doing all week. These are this week's spelling words. So we have plain, braid, fail, grain, snail, paint, sway, tray, gray, stay, state, fake, same, way, and they. Okay, here you are going to, it says to circle the spelling word in each row that rhymes with the word in bold type, write the spelling word on the line. So instead of dragging circles over, we're going to ignore the circle part and we're just going to have you write the rhyming word here. Okay, so let's look at number 1. Hey, they, joy, why. So which one of those words rhymes with hey? Hey, they. Oh, those have the same ending sound. So in here I'm going to type they. And the next one, I have grade, glad, gray, braid. Grade and gray both have that long A, so maybe it's that one. Grade and braid, but those have the very same ending sound, so I'm going to choose braid, and I'm going to type braid in this box. Okay, and you are going to go ahead and complete this one on your own, so you're going to do 3 through 15 on your own. Don't forget to turn it in when you're finished. All right, metaphor matching. So metaphors can be a little bit tricky, so let's talk about this one more time. We're going to write the number on the line of the meaning that matches the metaphor below. Okay, so you are in big trouble. So we're looking for a metaphor that means you're in big trouble. So she is a barrel full of laughs. Does that mean you're in big trouble? Doesn't sound like it. When mom sees that mess, you're toast. Oh, so if you're toast, does that mean you're in trouble? I think it does. So when mom sees that mess, you're toast. And that makes sense that you would be in trouble when mom sees the mess. So here we're going to type in the number 2. I keep dropping things. See which one of these metaphors means I keep dropping things. She's a barrel full of laughs. I don't think so. When mom sees that mess, you're toast. We use that one. I didn't mean to. I have butterfingers. Oh, when you have butterfingers, what is happening? That means you're dropping things. So when you are dropping things, they call you a butterfingers. And so we're going to type in the number 3 here. All right, so that's how you're going to continue, and you're going to put the numbers on each of these that matches the meaning with the metaphor. All right, don't forget to turn it in when you're finished. And I'll come back to you. So those are your reading assignments for today. And if you have any trouble, be sure to come and see me during office hours and we can work on some things together. All right, I hope you enjoyed the story. You may want to go back and look at it again. If you don't have the textbook, I think you're going to have to go back to yesterday's video in order to find the order of things that happen and their causes and effect in the Mary Anderson's Great Invention story. All right, have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.